So last week with the news of Nostalgia shutting down, it got me to thinking about WoW again, and reminiscing of my times with Vanilla, and just all of the time that I spent with the game. Spent a lot of time with WoW, from the launch of Vanilla up through the end of Wrath of the Lich King, and I've come back for every expansion since. I've got a long and storied history with this game, and although the latter half of WoW's existence, I haven't been playing that much, it's still a game that I hold near and dear to my heart. I decided I wanted to jump back in and play a little bit, but I didn't want to go on my level 100 characters and go back to mythic raiding or arena grinding. I wanted sort of a fresh experience, and I can't exactly stream or cover private servers because it's like illegal and you can get your videos taken down or you can get your Twitch account whatever closed or something. So I decided, let's make a new character on a brand new server. I won't be transferring gold, I won't be giving him bags, I won't be wearing heirloom gear. I'll just get a fresh start, as if I'd never played WoW before. So I started playing, I made a new account on a new server, and I was streaming this whole thing. I was having a really great time. Even without heirloom gear, leveling process wasn't very difficult, and it got me back into, it brought back a lot of memories, and that was a lot of fun. But at the same time, I started to realize, if I keep going through with this, I'm gonna start to run into some issues. Yeah, sure, when I queue up for dungeons, everyone else is probably gonna have heirloom gear, and they're gonna tear through the stuff while I'm barely hitting it, but it doesn't matter, because I'll be getting gear either way, so whatever. But then I realized if I wanted to go into battlegrounds while leveling up, or if I was just playing in the open world PvP zones, those contested zones, that was going to be a major problem. Heirloom gear with enchants, just twinked out low-level characters are going to kick my ass. And that was a bummer because one of my favorite experiences in the early days of WoW is the low-level PvP. Going through your questing zones, but also encountering the enemy faction and having at it with them, Having a good old fight in the middle of Stranglethorn Vale. Those were good times, those were good memories, but that will never happen on live servers because a good portion of the people that you're going to come up against will have an advantage over you because of their high-level characters feeding their low-level stuff. And that got me to thinking, what if there were ladder resets? Just hear me out for a second. This is something that Blizzard has much experience with the Diablo franchise and then in recent years with Hearthstone. The idea of resetting progress on servers so that people can do the climb again and experience that process fresh again and again and again. And then at the end of each season, there can be a reward depending on how well you did. So whether or not they brought back like a 1 to 60 legacy server or whether or not they just kept live 1 to 100, if they had ladder resets, we could get that fresh leveling experience on a brand new server where everyone starts off on an even footing once again, which is frankly something that you only ever got in vanilla WoW. Even expansions didn't truly give you that, because with each expansion you'd have people who were terribly geared, which was usually myself, terribly geared from the last expansion's endgame raids or the PvP arena gear stuff, and they would probably dominate you in the open world. And again, open world PvP isn't for everyone, not everyone enjoys it. I really think that there would be a lot of merit, and I think people would do it. I mean, again, look at how popular ladders are in Diablo. So I don't think it'd be entirely far-fetched for us to envision this scenario where, say, Blizzard opens up ladder resetting servers. Say they open up like 5 to 10 of them or whatever. Whether that reset is gonna happen in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, have a reset that occurs. Have everyone start fresh at the beginning of a ladder season, climb their way to their top, and getting into that fresh new server, everyone's starting from scratch leveling experience, that competition. And what this would also do, awesomely enough, is bring back PvE competition. People trying to be world first in each ladder season. World first MC clear. World first Nax clear. World first temple, like this, everything would be reset. Hence the term ladder reset. new seasons, rewards at the end of each of them that could apply to your entire account. Maybe that is special heirloom gear that you can take over to your servers that aren't part of the latter season, and you can show them off to people. Be like, hey, look, my guild was the first one to clear Molten Core. Or it doesn't matter what, but you know what I mean? Between the leveling PvP and the PvE sort of reset of progression and people competing to get there first, I think that could be a lot of fun, and I could see a lot of merit in them doing something like this. Now, a concern that I see brought up when talking about Nostalris last week, people brought up the idea that one of the reasons Blizzard might never do legacy servers was because they'd be worried about fragmenting their user base. I sort of said, well, maybe they won't do it because it would almost be an admission of, well, the things that we have done, there's a lot of people who don't like, and no one would want to admit that. But I understand the concept, and that actually makes a lot of sense. That one reason Blizzard might not do something like a ladder reset or opening up legacy servers is because they don't want to split the user base that they already have. Especially since that user base gets smaller and smaller as the years go by. Even if they are technically splitting their potential user base on live, I feel as if the people who would engage in these ladder servers that reset every couple of months are going to be different from the people who just want to have their persistent characters on live. And then, let us not forget the notion that even in live WoW, the active players eventually run into a wall where there's not much for them to do. They've done their mythic rating, they have the gear that they want, and there hasn't been any content updates in 6 months, or maybe even a year. There hasn't been anything new to even keep them playing, and so a lot of people stop. But if there were this existence of servers that I mean, frankly, I think it'd be cool to have a 1 to 60 server, maybe have it slightly accelerated experience compared to what vanilla really was, and have it be a monthly reset. And everyone would experience that fresh start, that low-level PvP, they would grind up to 60, and they would be going for Blackwing Lair and Molten Core and AQ and Nax 40 or whatever. This is just an idea. The details could obviously be adjusted and shifted into whatever Blizzard felt like worked the best and what made the most sense. But I think just in general, the idea of WoW having servers that have a reset would be amazing. And again, as I mentioned, even the most active of World of Warcraft players run into a wall and run out of stuff to do in between expansions. And this would give them something else to do. In fact, hey, you could also say maybe it'd make a lot of sense for them to start the seasons or reset the ladder in the middle of each major expansion, when typically there's not much for people to do who have been actively playing. It's just an idea, it's just a thought, something that popped in my head last week while I was playing this low-level character on a new server, and I think there's a lot of merit to it, and I think it could be a lot of fun. And I would highly suggest Blizzard maybe consider it. I'm no game developer, but sometimes I have some ideas that I think this is a pretty good one. And maybe it's something that I keep in mind. Alright guys, that is going to do it for me here today. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to leave your comments in the comment section below about everything we discussed here today. And until next time, I'll see you later.